Hello everyone, I am Grand Royson, welcome to new video. Today I am going to summarize Black Clover Chapter 276, 277, 278, 279, 280. Chapter 276, Yuno Grinbarial and Langris Vaude confront Zenon Zogratis, who is surprised that the infiltrators are not from the resistance and that Yuno is still alive. Yuno explains that William Vengeance saved him so they will take their captain back after defeating Zenon. Yuno uses Tornado Fang, but Zenon unleashes his devil power and easily blocks it with his bone magic. Langris declares he will not sit idly and attacks Zenon with Archangel Shootdown. However, Zenon creates spatial cubes around the spheres and negates their mana. Zenon presumes that if he did not exist, Langris likely would have been the strongest spatial mage. Amused that someone would talk down to him, Langris launches Archangel Destruction, but Zenon creates a spatial cube around the whole room and dispels Langris's spell. Claiming they will die without even having made him take a single step, Zenon attacks them by creating bones in space around them. Yuno summons Sylph, who shouts that she and Yuno will take Zenon out. Yuno assimilates Sylph and creates Spirit of Boreas, a halberd made of wind. The intense pressure of mana destroys Zenon's bones. Yuno reaffirms that he will become the Wizard King and cannot let Zenon keep victory over him. Zenon is surprised that the mana inside his dominion is not under his control. Yuno appears in front of Zenon and thrusts with his halberd. Although Zenon's bones stop the weapon, Yuno mockingly repeats Zenon's words that they will die without Zenon having to take a single step, and then creates a burst of spiraling wind that shatters the bones and drills into Zenon's torso. Chapter 277, Yuno Grinbarial tells Zenon Zogratis that he is the one that is going to die and to regret that he ever meddled with the Golden Dawn. Langris Vaude thinks about how it is working and that they will stop the Qliphoth Advent ritual. Langris also thinks about how they will be able to rescue William Vengeance. Elsewhere, Vanica Zogratis comments about how she heard that there were intruders but is disappointed that neither of them is Noel Silva. Vanica tells Charlotte Roselay and Rill Boismortier to show her if they are worthy of having fun with her. Vanica tells them that if the two cannot defeat two of the shining generals that she has with her, then they are not worth bothering with. Charlotte attacks with her corpse-hunting briar tree spell, which Vanica says that the two have been empowered and the two destroy Charlotte's spell. Rill uses his Souterrain Groundswell and Sirene's Game spells to counter the general's spells. Vanica compliments Rill's painting magic but is underwhelmed by it. Vanica also says that Charlotte's briar magic is holding Rill back. Vanica wishes that she could fight against Asta or Yami Sukahiro and make them her toys, but adds that Yami's death will open the gate to the underworld and that Yami cannot be too strong since Zenon was able to catch him. Charlotte thinks about how for the last year, she has been studying the Heart Kingdom's mana method while performing her captain duties. Although her curse was a shackle that restrained her magic, she found a new way to use her magic with the mastery of mana method. Charlotte also remembers Dorothy Unsworth telling her that Magicula is the parent of all curse magic in the world. Charlotte says that it is because of Magicula that she was able to grow stronger. As Charlotte activates her magic, Rill notices that Charlotte deployed her mana method and wonders if good mana soil and water helped them grow well. Charlotte's blue rose paradise covers the room, while she explains how her briars get stronger with the more curse power that they absorb from the enemy. Vanica notices that the curses that she placed on the generals are becoming weaker. Magicula removes Vanica's eye patch and comments about how Charlotte modified the curse on herself and turned it into a special anti-curse spell, which Magicula finds fascinating. Charlotte thinks about how everything that has happened to her is nourishment for her magic. Charlotte says that she is now able to use both her blue and red roses, and uses her Queen of Briars spell to defeat the generals. Charlotte thinks about how she will save Yami and show him how strong she had become. Rill sees this and thinks about how Charlotte was able to become a captain without using her true power. Vanica gets excited and activates her devil power, while proclaiming that she had found the best opponent ever. Charlotte says that she is not going to fight her and wraps Vanica in her briar. Vanica says that she will just brush them off, but Charlotte replies that strength means nothing to those briars and that they get tighter the more the victim struggles. Magicula says that Charlotte is using its own strength against it, while Vanica tells Charlotte to have fun with her. Charlotte explains how Vanica let this happen to her, to which Vanica replies that they will have the best fight ever. Charlotte says that ridiculous women like her are not her thing, and that her punishment is to die without getting her wish while wrapping her completely in briars. Chapter 278, Jack uses his lunatic slash to cut Dante's body multiple times, but Dante's wounds are healed right after the wounds are made. Dante explains how Maurice Liberdert's sorcery science has improved his body's regenerative abilities even further, and that the only thing that has a chance to harm him is anti-magic. Nacht thinks about how he had figured as much and that they will have to gamble with Jack's magic, which is able to cut things that cannot be cut, in order to win this fight. Jack says that they are just getting started, but Dante replies that he has no use for them and activates his Presence of the Demon King spell. Nacht wonders if Jack will be able to attack from inside of the gravity spell. Nacht then has Slotos enter his shadow and activates his Unite mode, Equus, which gives him the characteristic of toughness. Dante sees this and comments about how there's another devil host besides Asta. Nacht asks Jack what happened since he was showing so much spirit, and if his height and attitude is all that's big about him. Nacht says that talk is cheap and tells Jack to let his skills do the talking instead, which makes Jack become frustrated with Nacht. Suddenly Dante appears behind Nacht and tells him to not ignore him, while throwing a punch. Nacht says that he is talking to Captain Jack and kicks Dante. Dante gets excited and tells Nacht to show him more of his malice, and to keep him entertained until the gate is opened. Nacht thinks about how he can trade blows with Dante but cannot land a critical hit, and that is the reason why he cannot kill Dante. Nacht figures that he has to get Jack to attack somehow, or else they are finished. Dante turns his attention to Jack and comments about how he heard that Jack is a captain but Jack is boring, and tells him to get lost. Jack thinks about how his dad was a hunter, who made his living by hunting birds and small game. Jack's dad has told him to not mess with anything that looks stronger than him, which Jack thinks about how his dad was a solid and conventional guy. When Jack's dad learned that Jack's magic formed blades, he was happy and comments about how it was fitting magic for a hunter. Jack thinks about how he hunted creatures that were weaker than him and slashed them up, and wondered if he always lived this way. When Jack was 13, Jack's dad was killed, which he thought about how he saw that coming. Jack thinks about how his dad probably ran into the Lord of the Mountain while he was hunting, since they were huge claw marks on his back. Later Jack confronted the Lord of the Mountain and thinks about how this is fine since he can slash through that. After Jack manages to defeat the Lord, he figures that he will join the Magic Knights. Nacht manages to block Dante's punch, but notices that Jack is manipulating blades on the surface of his body to sharpen them. Dante comments about how Jack is pathetic and says that Yami was a captain too, but Yami was able to keep him entertained. Jack thinks about how he wants to take the ones who are considered strong and slash them to ribbons, and gets up while having multiple blades from multiple parts of his body. Nacht thinks about how Jack was able to slash through the gravity. Jack says that he will test this on Dante's body and slashes him. Dante regenerates and says that it does not matter how much Jack attacks, which he, a mere insect, could not kill him. As Dante prepares his gravity singularity spell, but Jack tells Dante to not mess with insects. Jack thinks about how the tough guys are not the ones with the best reputations, but they are the ones who kill everything that stands in front of them. Jack manages to slash through Dante's body magic, enough to hurt him, which makes him bleed. As Dante is shocked with what just happened, Nacht comments how it appears that he underestimated Jack. Chapter 279, Outside the castle, Marioliona Vermilion gloats over the burning demon, while the Spade Kingdom resistance are amazed by her strength. Ralph Niaflem, Sally, Valtos, Raid Spirito, Sek Bronzatza, and Makusa North show up to meet with the resistance. Albert is glad that Ralph is alright, and comments about how Ralph has also met with Nacht Faust. Ralph tells Albert that he has met Yuno Grinbarial, and how Yuno is a skilled wind mage. Ralph also describes how Yuno looks like Lady Seal and has the strong heart like Lord Lois. Albert hears this and thinks about how they can win with the help of Master Yuno and the others. Inside the castle, Plummead informs Nacht on how the other fights are going. Nacht comments on how the strongest magic knights are stronger than he anticipated, and thinks about how they still have time before the gate to the underworld is opened. As Jack the Ripper manages to cut Dante Zogratis, Dante gets excited and wishes for Jack to entertain him too. Jack tells him to shut up and just die already. Suddenly, magic circles appear on the walls of the room, and the roots of the tree of Qliphoth burst forth from the castle. Nacht switches out Slotos and enters Unite mode, Felis. Nacht then uses his Heaven's Shadow Second Sight spell to look at the site of the Qliphoth Advent ritual. Nacht notices that, alongside Yami Sukahiro and William Vengeance, there is another presence, the exiled magic scholar from the Diamond Kingdom, Morris Liberdurt. Morris laughs to himself about how Vanica's whim to take Lalapeka as a hostage was useful since he was able to use the wisdom of the Heart Kingdom to accelerate the tree of Qliphoth's growth. Morris also remarks that despite being born blind, he has achieved the power of a devil, which he used to extract and transplant Lalapeka's wisdom into himself. Nacht is uncertain how Morris became an accelerant for the ritual, but panics when he notices that the first gate is opening. His thoughts are interrupted as two devils appear in Dante's chamber. The devils attack Nacht and Jack, but Nacht manages to dodge the attack due to Plummead's characteristic, agility. Jack is sent crashing into a wall behind Dante. Nacht notes that the devils are of the highest order. Chapter 280. Jack the Ripper is frozen to the wall after being hit by Lilith's attack. Nacht Faust notices that Plummead is shaking, and thinks about how the two devils before him are the highest ranking from the first layer of the underworld. Nacht thought that these devils would be equal to the Dark Triad, but realizes that they are on a completely different level. As the devils attack again, Nacht dashes around the room but is still hit by some of their attacks. Lilith and Nahama delight in the mana and toying with the humans. Outside of the castle, the roots of the tree of Qliphoth have begun absorbing mana from the world. Albert senses a large, nauseating magic as a horde of devils breaks out through the castle gate. Marioliona Vermilion recognizes the similarity of the magic power to Zagard's. However, her thoughts are interrupted by the demon standing back up and forming wings. Marioliona looks forward to fighting the demon for real. Inside of the castle, even though Zenon Zogratis has drawn on 80% of his devil's power, Yuno's spirit of Boreas continues to shatter his bones and injure him. Yuno says that it is over, but Zenon disagrees. At another location, Charlotte Roselay comments about how Vanica's magic power is swelling even through her curse power should have been sealed. Elsewhere, Dante smiles as he notes that with the first gate open, the barrier limiting their contracts has now been lifted. Dante, Zenon, and Vanica then use all 100% of their devil's powers. Dante uses gravity magic to pull Jack towards him and hold him in place while pummeling Jack with his right hand. At Vanica's location, Vanica attacks Charlotte and knocks off her helmet, which causes Rill Boismortier to worry. Vanica comments about how Charlotte is so mean since Vanica likes her so much. Vanica then asks if Charlotte wants to come with her. Elsewhere, Zenon's bone whips force Yuno back. Yuno notices that Zenon's power has gotten stronger and all of Zenon's damage has healed. Zenon comments about how Yuno's victory was just a fragile fleeting dream. With devils everywhere, Nacht determines that he has to defeat Morris Liberdurt or the situation will keep deteriorating, but that someone has to keep Lilith and Nahama occupied. Remembering Asta, Nacht figures out the best move and asks Plummead to die with him. Elsewhere, Zenon claims that Yuno and Langris Vaude will be the ones to die and not to worry since they have nowhere to return to in any case, which puzzles Yuno. Dark clouds form over the Clover Kingdom, and a giant demon descends from them, causing people all over the country to panic. In the training chamber, Asta and Liba take a break. If you like this video, please like, subscribe and share. For more, thanks you all, meet you in another video.